One of the things I use quite regularly is the Lee filter system. This is the wide angle hood, and this allows me to block flare and sunlight from side angles that would normally hit this lens, much more so than the stock lens hood that comes with the lens. It does a little bit, but that's virtually useless. So this guy I really like, and the way that it works is there is an adapter ring that attaches in the back of this, and you can buy this adapter ring for whatever thread size you have for the front of your lens. So if you're not a Canon shooter, or you're not shooting a Canon 24, maybe you're shooting an Nikon lens, then you can buy the thread size that fits. It threads right onto the front like any other filter would. Once you've got that adapter threaded on, you can attach the hood and adjust your bellows so that you're blocking out any flare that you may be experiencing with this lens. It has two slots built into the top of it, and this is important because the two filters that I primarily use in architecture photography are a polarizer and a graduated ND filter. I'll talk more about these in detail here. The polarizer, this is a linear polarizer. It allows me to cut glare off of a single axis. So if you need to cut glare off of two axes, you're gonna have to rotate this 90 degrees and take another shot. We'll demonstrate all of that when we get on to actually shooting our project. This filter slides in to the Lee filter system, and then we have a rotating ability with this hood so that we can get whichever axis we want to polarize to reduce that glare. It works phenomenally. I absolutely love this thing. I use it all the time. The only downside is that you lose about a stop and a half of light, so you're gonna have to compensate that either by dragging your shutter or increasing your ISO. Technically, you could open up your aperture, but you may be compositing images that have a polarizer with images that are not using a polarizer, and if you change that aperture, you're not going to be able to line them up the same way in post-production. Once I have this polarizer in place, then I sometimes on exteriors will use an additional filter. This one is called a soft graduated ND filter, and we can see that it starts light and it gets dark near the top. I'll move it around a little bit and hopefully the camera can see that. Now the point of a neutral density, again, is to darken certain parts of the image. And this is one that I use on daytime exteriors quite a bit, just to bring that sky down so that it doesn't blow out on me when I'm capturing brighter exposures for the actual structure or landscape that I'm trying to photograph in my scene. Doesn't really matter which brand you decide to use, but I would spend the money once and buy a good quality filter. What I've found is that cheap filters tend to add a lot of color cast, and that's something that I don't want to have to fight in post. That's the whole point of using this guy, is to prevent all of that color cast and get nice accurate color in my initial shot.